Hi there. So I guess I'm going to tell a little story about something that was designed a very long time ago, and that's street addresses. So street addresses were designed around something like this slide, which I was just showing, letters. Street addresses were designed a few hundred years ago when letters were delivered sometimes on horseback. And what this has meant is that as the world has changed, as we've changed our maps, so we've changed our letters, we've changed how we move things around, and we've also changed our maps that we use to navigate. There we go. We've changed our maps. They don't look like this anymore. The maps that we use today are digital. They're inside our cars, they're inside our phones, sometimes they're invisible, they're inside our voice devices that we talk to at home. So maps look really different, and yet the addresses, the street addresses that we use with those, look pretty much the same. They haven't really changed in 300 years. And as we move into a future which is all about human-machine interaction, things start to break. Addresses stop working as well as they used to. And nobody's really trying to change that, or at least not many people are trying to change that. Now, you have lots of problems with addresses. One of them is that it's very easy to make a mistake if you're using an address with a machine. So it's easy for humans to make mistakes, and machines find it very hard to recognize those mistakes. This is an example of a tourist, an American tourist, who got very lost in Iceland because he missed out one letter in the middle of the word. So if you look at that, that's Laugavegur, or something like this. Now, there's another place in Iceland, very similar name, one R right in the middle, the letter R. If you miss that out when you're typing it into your GPS, and you follow your GPS very trustingly, as we do, you follow your GPS, you end up 5 hours on the wrong side of Iceland without the hotel that you were expecting. And the problem there was that he typed in an address, the machine went, that's an address, and it took him there. It didn't matter that it was the wrong address, because he didn't know that and the machine didn't know that. So he went to the wrong place. I enjoyed this example from the UK. This was a football club last year that had to cancel their game because the team bus drove to Hunden instead of Hendon, 70 miles away. Look, Hunden and Hendon, one letter difference, 70 miles apart, no football game. Now, they end this tweet by saying, the club stresses that this will not happen again. Now, that particular mistake may not happen again, but you know what? We make mistakes all the time. We're human beings. That's what we do. We make a lot of mistakes. But sometimes the mistakes are not our fault. This one was my mistake. Now, I don't feel I can really be responsible for it because I was trying to look for an Airbnb at 30 Plinigerstrasse, and it turns out there are two 30 Plinigerstrasses within 15 minutes of each other. Now, that wasn't my fault. It wasn't my taxi driver's fault. It wasn't really anybody's fault. When these addresses were invented, they were probably two villages, and it didn't matter that they both had the same name because everybody knew where everybody lived, and they weren't using machines to navigate between them. So that's frustrating. Sometimes the problem is there's just not enough information. So if I look up the address of Harrods in London, I get a pin right in the middle of a building. Now, maybe if that's the helipad and the helicopter's landing on top, that might be useful. Otherwise, how do I know which of the multiple entrances this is referring to? Maybe I'm doing a delivery, and I'm certainly not going to be using the same VIP entrance the celebrities use. Maybe I want an Uber to drop me off. Where's the Uber drop-off? So you have one address, lots of different entrances. Addresses aren't accurate enough. If you came here today, it's very possible some of you will have come to the wrong entrance at the Excel and walked around trying to find your way. And then there are lots of places that don't even have addresses. Addresses were designed around delivery. If you don't deliver mail there, it doesn't have an address. If I stay in an Airbnb halfway up a mountain, which is a shepherd's hut, no one delivered mail there, so there's no address for that Airbnb. So that's frustrating. Or I want to tell you where the best coffee is in a street market. Again, no address. How do I say exactly where that amazing coffee is? Maybe it's in a van that moves. How do I explain where that van is today? And it's getting worse. So all of those were problems 10 years ago, 20 years ago. They're problems now, especially when I'm using it with a device. But it's getting worse with voice. So voice systems are wonderful things. I'm a huge voice addict. I have an Alexa and a Google Home. I use them obsessively for some things. I don't use them for everything. Now, I enjoy this tweet. Alexa, can you turn the porch lights on, please? Alexa replies, you don't have a Porsche, so I've turned on the Dacia Duster lights instead. Now, this makes us laugh because, hey, it's just a joke, but it makes us laugh because we're used to Alexa getting stuff a little bit wrong. It might be, hey, Google, play Mbop, and Google plays Johann Sebastian Bach. So it might be upgrading your music taste, but it's certainly not what you asked for. Or indeed, I had a work phone call. I asked Alexa to mute. She thought I said newt. And newt is part of the salamander family, in case you were wondering. Or got to the supermarket today, and I find rights at the top of my shopping list. Took me a good minute to realize my Google Home Mini mistook rights for rice. No less true, but hilarious. Now, these resonate with us because we know voice recognition is not perfect. And with addresses, the problem is actually not necessarily the voice recognition system. The problem is the address. Addresses were absolutely not built for voice. So if I want to get an Uber from our office on Alfred Road to Lawn Road, for example, how does Uber know if I was saying Lawn Road, L-A-W-N, or Lawn Road, L-O-R-N-E? With an English accent, those sound identical. They don't have any difference. American accent, slight difference. But if I'm using my voice to command my Uber, to talk to my Alexa, how on earth does it have enough information to know which of those I said? I say 17 Lawn Road, it could be either of those. And those are within a 13-minute drive, I think in Belsize Park in London. Addresses and voice, not a good mix. Just think about things like this. 240 California Street. Does that take me to number 40 California Street? Is it 240 California Street? If it is, which of all of those 240 California Streets did I mean? This is crazy. We're using an addressing system with machines, and it was not designed for machines, and it was not designed for voice. And what this means is, you get in a car, and it's got an incredible voice navigation system. You talk to Alexa, and it can order you an Uber to take you from where you are to where you'd like to go, and the address bit fails. It fails, and you go back to typing. That's really frustrating. That assumes you can even say the words. I don't know if anyone is not from the UK. If you're from the UK, you might know that we say this Worcestershire. If you're not from the UK, good luck working that out. I have no idea how to say either of these. One of these is in Wales, one of these in the US. I have no idea. You ask me to read that out to my friend who's navigating, or to my Alexa, or to my car? No chance. I'm not going to get it right. So, that, of course, gets worse when you go abroad. I don't even know how to pronounce that. The problem we have is we've got this really old-fashioned system which was not designed for the world we live in today. It's not universal. They're not accurate. They weren't built for voice. So I've told you a lot about the problems. I'm going to tell you about how we fixed it. So we decided it's time for a new universal addressing system. This should be accurate, it should be universal, and it should be built for voice. There is a universal addressing system. It looks like this, GPS coordinates. Now, this is universal, works everywhere. It's accurate. I can use it to talk about a door over there, a door over there, a drone landing pad, a spot for yoga on the beach. The problem is, if I say to somebody, hey, we're going for drinks tonight at 25 degrees, 9 minutes, 40.918, etc., it's not happening. We're not communicating in strings of 16 digits. So we wanted to take the power of GPS coordinates and make them human-friendly. So what we did is we took the entire planet, we divided it into a grid of 57 trillion squares. Each square is 3 meters by 3 meters, so about from here to the end of the stage, 3 meters by 3 meters, and we labeled every single square, all 57 trillion, with an address made of 3 words from the dictionary. So if I say to you, let's meet at my house at Thread Stroller's Bumble, that is a 3 meter by 3 meter square in Germany. That's that front door. Not another address like it in the world. It's unique out of 57 trillion. It means if I have a stadium or a conference venue like this, every different entrance has a different address. I can say, meet me at Pizza Rainy Sheep, and that's visitor entrance number 1. This parking space is Spicy Float Monday. This parking space is Pirate Gather Daisy. Everywhere in the world has one of these addresses. Indeed, one of the entrances here today, Engine Accent Vague. That's one of the entrances to this building here. So everywhere has one of these addresses already. All of you guys have an address. You can download our app. So we have an app which is free to use everywhere in the world. You can download this app. Your front door, if you have a back door as well, that has an address. Your favorite spot on the beach, you all have an address already. You just have to look it up and discover the 3 words of your front door. Behind the scenes, this is a GPS coordinate. We've created technology that takes those 3 words. You say apple, banana, spoon. It converts that to a 16-digit GPS coordinate. and it can route you there. So that's the idea. We've also done this in 27 languages so far, and counting. Chinese was number 27, but if I'm saying I want to meet someone for a date in a park, I can give them a 3-word address in German, in English, in Swahili, in Arabic, in Korean. This is what it looks like in Chinese. So we just finished Chinese, launching some big things in China later this year. So that's the idea. Now, this can be built into anything. This is an example I love that happened this week. This week, Park Bob is a parking app. If you want to, you can type in a 3-word address of where you'd like to go, and they'll find you the best parking space that's close to that. Very, very simple to do. It's a piece of code. You can build this into anything. Anything that has an address bar that you would type or speak an address into, you can put what3words in there. Now, the way it's used is just like a normal address. So this is a guide for small luxury hotels in the world. Every single one of these hotels gives you a 3-word address for the entrance to their hotel, because they want to make sure their guests arrive very relaxed when they're going to this luxury hotel. Lonely Planet has started bringing out what3words in its guides. This was the first one. This is the Lonely Planet guide to Mongolia. If you buy it, to go and have a holiday there, every single listing in the Lonely Planet guide has a 3-word address. So you can simply type in that or say it. So our app works with voice, so you can tick up the app, you say seeping, expanding defensively, and it will take you there. Now, you'll notice those words seem a little unusual. That's because it's in the middle of Mongolia. So when we designed the system, we put simple words where people live. So in London, you'll get words like apple, spoon, banana. If you go to the middle of the Sahara Desert, you'll get words like dodecahedron, catastrophically overwhelming. So longer words where people are less likely to go. Short words where you live. That's the idea. And even Airbnb hosts have started doing this. We love that. It's one of my favorite things is when one of my friends stays in an Airbnb and texts me and says, my Airbnb in Edinburgh sent me a 3-word address, so I knew how to find them. And then what do you do with this address? Well, if you drive a Mercedes, you can put this in the car. So Mercedes became the first car company last year to bring what3words natively into the car. So it's in their new navigation system, MBUX. So you can get in your Mercedes, you can say 3 words, and you know it will get you to that exact location. And best of all, it will actually understand you. You will say 3 dictionary words, apple, banana, spoon, and you know it will understand you. It will correct any errors that you've made, and it will actually take you to the right place. That's what this looks like in action. I think there's some sound. Thank you.
Navigate to what3words, units, reach, crush.
Starting route time.
So that's the idea. This is a 3-word address, can be used just like a normal address. It's just easier to say, easy to communicate, and it gets you to the right place. So we're built into taxi apps, ride-hailing apps like Cabify, for example. And I like the idea of this future where when I take a picture of, the coffee that I'm going to put on Instagram, I can tag it with a 3-word address. When I go to a checkout page, they ask me to give the 3-word address of my front door or the safe space in my garden I want my package left. Or my Airbnb host sends me the 3-word address of the door that I'm going to. So that's the idea. And of course, thinking about voice, one of the things we're about to unveil is how you might use what3words with something like Alexa.
Alexa, ask what3words to order me an Uber to Trader Than Longer from Filled Count Soap.
You asked an Uber to Trader Than Longer at Bayswater from Filled Count Soap. Is that correct?
Yes.
Your Uber X to Trader Than Longer in Bayswater is 4 minutes away. Would you like to confirm the order?
Yes.
Thank you. Your Uber to Bayswater is on its way.
Alexa, ask what3words to check the status of my Uber.
Your Uber X to Trader Than Longer in Bayswater is 2 minutes away.
So that's the idea. 3 words, and Alexa knows exactly where I'd like my Uber to take me. That's the idea. And of course, right now, if I'm in an Uber or a My Taxi or a Lyft, and I know the driver is driving the wrong side of the building, you know what I can do? I can say, sorry, you're on the wrong side. Can we just keep going? This happens to me all the time. My flat is hard to find. It's on a corner. And I have to say, just turn right at the traffic lights. Stop there. It's next to the pub. Now, that works very well with a human driver. It's slightly frustrating. I wish I didn't have to do it. But I'm English, I don't like to speak to people I don't know, but it's okay. However, once you take out the driver and we think about autonomy, we have a slightly bigger problem. When I'm expecting a robo-taxi to come and collect me or to take me somewhere, I'd actually really like to trust it's going to come to the right place. I'd actually really like to trust it's going to take me to the right place. We all have this kind of fear of being locked in an autonomous vehicle and driving you somewhere that you don't want to go. So this is a problem we're solving today. It's a problem we're solving for voice. It's a problem we're solving for getting your deliveries to you on time. But it's a problem we need to solve before we end up with autonomy, because we really need to trust that these vehicles are taking us to the right place. So that's what3words. It's being used all around the world in amazing ways. You guys now know about it, so I'm expecting all of you to start using your 3-word address. One of my favorite things is to see physical signs popping up all around the world. This is one. So this is a bus stop in Ulaanbaatar, the capital city of Mongolia. Now, Mongolia's been using what3words in quite a big way the last couple of years, and every bus stop in the capital city has a 3-word address. That's English, and that's also Mongolian. So we did what3words in Mongolian. If you want to order pizza, you can give Pizza Hut in Mongolia your 3-word address, that you can use it to deliver mail. I like this example from Paris. This is a gallery in Paris. This is actually both the name and the address of the gallery. So they called their gallery tables empty workshops because it was both the address and the name. And even in Germany, this is, so Deutsche Bahn, you guys might know them, big public transportation agency. Deutsche Bank's a big corporate in Germany, and on their window of their HQ in Germany, if you go and visit, they've got the 3-word address written on that window. Now, if you didn't know what3words, that might be slightly confusing. You guys are in the club, you know what this means. You'll see these popping up all over the place. There's a bar in London called Tabak Bar that recently opened. They've got a 3-word address on their window. I love seeing that. It's one of my favorite things, seeing people use this around the world, and that's a whole range of ways, whether it's putting it on your website to make sure that people can find you, in your email signature, on your business card, or just when you're getting in a taxi and you've got an Airbnb host that sent you a 3-word address, you can use what3words to get to that exact location wherever you are in the world. So that is what3words.